Hey, wake up! It's time to start the show. Glad to see you all aboard Mouse Ears in Paradise. Let's get this show rolling.
Welcome back to Mouse Ears in Paradise. I'm Dave.
And I'm Becky.
It's been a bit. Been a hot minute. It's been a crazy time of year. End of school year. May is just rough, especially with one of the parents being teacher, one of the kids graduating from middle school. You combine that with all the normal end of school year stuff, activities, events, performances.
It's been a lot of things.
Yeah, it's been busy for us. So we're back for now.
It's the privilege of having our podcast.
Yeah, and then last week I was sick.
Yeah,
and it's been a crazy time. So here we are with what we got. All right, so Disney made a bunch of big announcements, including ones that impact Disneyland.
Yeah, they've been busy too.
Yeah, they've been busy too. So it's not just us. I guess makes us feel better. So where do you want to start with the announcements?
You read them and I'll fodder, I guess.
Okay, so one of the first ones is, and these are all things that we had heard about, but we're hearing more about. Sure. I think really now because they were announced at the expo, and now we're hearing more details. Where is it going to be, and kind of what's the timeline? These are more in the immediate future and actually likely to happen. The first one is Coco coming to DCA, which is going to be over in the Paradise Garden Grill area, but apparently backstage, or was currently backstage, largely backstage. And it's gonna, I think it's supposed to be like a boat ride, but
hey,
awesome. Let's
bring
do
it.
I mean, I guess it could be multi-story or something. I guess
they need something over there. So I mean,
I think it's a good idea. And Coco is a great property.
It is a great property. People love it. It had a lot of staying power. I feel like it resonates. It's appropriate in California. Like it's a good, like the cultural tie-in is strong there. So I feel like there's a lot. It's appropriate for it to be there, right? Like in DCA that it fits. So I think that's great. We'll see what it looks like and how it comes together. It's not going to be what any of us want it to be. We can just say that flat out.
Sure.
It's not.
But I am hopeful that it should be family friendly and accessible to, a broad range of ages.
Yeah, I think so. They need that in the park.
They do need that in the park.
Yeah. We just recently watched A Bug's Life with the family because now we're going through these movies again, and the youngest hasn't seen them, and we were lamenting Bugs Land, which again, like I know the rides were not necessarily spectacular, quote unquote, but the theming was so great, and it was so great for young kids. And I feel like Cars Land has a bit of that, but it's so loud, and it's so like those rides are fast, and they're on
the more intense side of things.
They have height requirements. And so I feel like the more they need to build up the family aspect of that park a little bit.
All right. So speaking of kids attractions, the story is that they're also going to be removing Monsters, Inc.
I know. This is so sad.
And replacing with Avatar. So, we're gaining potentially a kid-friendly attraction with Coco. We're losing one with Monsters, which I think there's been ages where the kids were maybe like, oh, it's dark ride, it's a little scary. But
sure.
I don't think it's a ride. It's generally a scary ride, but it's just dark and unknown. But generally, I think been liked at most of the ages. Yeah. Even pretty young. But switched out for Avatar. Now, I don't think this is going to be like the Navi River journey or whatever.
No, it's not my impression.
But I also don't expect that it's going to be.
You don't think it'll be flat of
because that's. I mean, you've got. Soarin'.
It does look. The concept art does look screen heavy.
Yeah, I expect that it probably will be.
Yeah,
but it's seemingly going to be something we don't have yet.
Sure.
Might be using some similar ride concept, but with new theming. Not sure.
Yeah, I do not understand why Disney continues to hang its hat on Avatar. I really do not. I know.
There's more movies coming out, including this at the end of this year. So
yeah, there's just so many properties, right, that are available to Disney, and I feel like is this really what culture has clung onto? Like,
look at the wait times for the Avatar Land and the Animal Kingdom, though, right? Like,
yeah, but I understand that, and I know like Annika loves it. I know she does, but I feel like I don't know. Like when you compare this to How to Train Your Dragon, which I feel like they're both kind of in the fantasy world of Universal. Like to me, there's not even it loses every time, right?
Sure.
If you can put it against those two, but if you put other properties out there, like, I mean, I know we have an indie ride, but if you do like any of the Star Wars films versus How to Train Your Dragon, like Star Wars will always win, right? Like I feel like there's other universes and other Marvel, and again, like I know we have all these things. But I just don't understand why we're going to compete with Mario and How to Train Your Dragon with Avatar. Like those they're not even in the same league. It's like bringing your minor league team up to play with the majors.
I don't disagree. But I mean, I think their argument would be it's every film's $1 billion plus, right? So
okay.
Like, it clearly has some pull with audiences. So.
Yeah, it's fine. They're going to do it whether I like it or not. But
I don't fully understand how they're going to fit that in with the theming with the rest of California Adventure. Where like Avengers Campus, it was kind of like that was already, I think, a weak tie-in, but okay. But are they going to do something similar? Like it's some sort of outpost or some, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Ambassador program to the Na'vi.
Ambassador program. Yeah, it's fine. I don't know. Like, Monsters has been sort of a staple to that park, and maybe we can buy some of it. I guess. Like, well, maybe we can get a taxi cab to put out in the backyard. But I don't know. I'm bummed out about it. I think it's sad, and Monsters Inc. is sort of in my opinion, one of the best Pixar movies. So I'm sad to see that go. Yeah. And I know they're building, other places. They're doing
Hollywood
more
Studios,
with Monsters. And so it's not like it's going away. I understand that too. But people will be thrilled to have an Avatar attraction out here. I think that if they were to build a full-size Dynamite attraction, it doesn't necessarily matter what the property is that they use. Like, so why not pick something more classic, I guess, or more California Adventure, or more like something that at least ties in.
I mean, I guess you could argue what's Monsters have anything to do with California Adventure either, but
sure, I can see that. Except it's done by Pixar, which is a California-based company.
Sure, yeah, that's good. I'll buy that.
Right, and they could. I know we have Marvel Land, but they have a strong Pixar theming in that park, so they could continue to build on that. Like that's a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. We'll just have to see how this all plays out, and I'm sure we'll go on the ride. I mean,
we're going to pay $30 a piece to skip the line.
So whatever it is.
Because that's what it'd be. I'm not going to wait in a 4-hour line.
No.
That's not going to happen. Could we just get Cosmic Rewind? Like, what? That I would feel really excited about. Pull Monsters out, put Cosmic Rewind in there. You can even put a little homage of Monsters with the door level in Cosmic Rewind. Like, you could make that work where you fly through a door. And, like, I feel like, come on, we can do better.
Yeah. That could be interesting. Or we could get the ride that Hollywood Studios is getting, too.
Yeah. Or both. There's room. I know. You're
a big fan of the Cosmic Rewind.
I am a big fan of Cosmic Rewind.
It's a good ride.
Yeah. They could take a lot out and put that in, and I would be happy.
All right, so I think we try to be, I think more on the family focused Disney travel aspect of things, and I feel like one of the things that a lot of families do to try to make a family experience more enjoyable at the Disney parks is using the DVC, and there's the recent crackdown on the point rental system, which I think is potentially a big deal for a lot of families that have been traveling that way.
Yeah, it could be. I will say we know people who have been burned by this. Mm-hmm. We have never rented points, so it will not affect us.
We've stayed DVC, but we've never rented points.
No, we've paid cash. And it's always worked out well for us. I think if you're a DVC owner, it's been a nice way to recoup some of your yearly costs. Like if you can't go and you want to do something else, it's a nice way to, okay, we're not going to go to Disney this year, but we can, recoup some of that money and go somewhere else or do something else or pay for cheerleading or whatever it is that you need to do. But it'll be interesting to see. I kind of get it. Like as a member, if I were a member, which we are not, full disclosure, we do not currently own DVC.
Not yet.
One of us hasn't died and the life insurance policy hasn't paid out. It does lose its exclusivity when you are able to rent out. Like I understand why they would not want that. Mm-hmm. And I understand also that it undercuts the value of their properties essentially, mm-hmm. right? Like if you can rent cheaper from somebody else, there's definitely some businesses that are going to feel that. And they're probably, and I do feel bad about that. Like there are people who make their livelihood now on assisting people on renting out DVC points. And I haven't really looked around the internet to see what their response has been. Have you looked at all to see?
Not at responses, but to better understand kind of what Disney might be trying to solve for. Okay. Where I knew that there were kind of these, I guess I'd call it broker kind of sites where it's like, party A needs to rent out their points because they can't go this year, and they are going to go help you find party B that wants to go to Disney this year and wants to rent points, and they kind of like help make that transaction happen, right? Well, then there's also ones apparently who are buying DVC points exclusively to be renting out.
Oh, that's fascinating.
And they're making bookings exclusively like during times when they know that there's going to be high demand, and basically using up all of the capacity and just having it with the expectation that they're going to be able to then rent it out.
Yeah.
And so some of the speculation is that those are the ones that are really trying to go after is these people who and I don't remember quite how they put it, but the idea was if the majority of your bookings for your DVC points are for somebody other than you, then that's a problem.
Interesting.
Right? Whereas if it's like once every 3 years or it's like a portion of your points, like you're doing the majority of the bookings, but like if 99% of the bookings are for somebody else, then that seems fishy, right? Or if 100% of them are, or even really probably anything more than 50% starts to raise the eyebrow of like, what is, because I guess there's some stipulation in there is it's not supposed to be commercial.
It's not supposed to be a commercial property,
I can see where they would want to solve for that because it is going to impede people who are using it for its intended purposes to be missing out on the making bookings and reservations and availability, all of that kind of stuff. And people are probably using it more fully than Disney is hoping you're going to, right? Like you're maximizing. Again, Disney, I'm sure, has some sort of formula where it's like, people are going to really use 75% of their points on a given year. And like, sure, they might be banking some and borrowing for some, and probably some just get forgotten, right? Whereas if you have a large portion of commercial people who are making sure that every point gets used, then that's going to probably impact them as well. So.
Well, and it's not meant necessarily to be an investment property.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh, that's fascinating.
Yeah. I found it interesting too because I never really, I knew that there were these rental things, and I thought it was more of like I said, a broker where there was kind of like people that are trying to rent them out because they can't go, and then people that want to get them, and they're just kind of helping facilitate that. Probably some sort of service fee to coordinate that, and that's how they're making money. But it sounds like there's this whole other cottage industry that's developed.
Why didn't we think of this?
Where people are just buying thousands of DVC points, and it's becoming like, and you said, almost an investment property where they're just renting out with no intention
of ever using it themselves.
Using them for themselves, yeah. Where they probably have a selection, like maybe they have some that are for them, but then more than 50% of their points are being used to probably pay for those original ones.
Huh.
And when you think about it, this is not small chunk of change you're talking about. You're talking about tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
For even probably the simplest of, points packages these days.
Yeah.
So like this is serious money.
Huh. That's really interesting. Yeah. That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean you would it has to become this whole strategy and something you're living in.
You got to be on it. You have to live in it. Yeah. That sounds stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, no more.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess that in my reading, I also found that it is like, I want to say 15 years ago, they kind of shook the trees in a similar way.
Okay.
And nothing really kind of came out of it. Although I guess at the time there were some rumors about when you were doing bookings on the phone, like they would, start to kind of hassle you a little bit about it if it kind of smelled fishy. But with so much stuff online happening online now that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen any actual outcome of this, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I mean, if they're going to make the statement, then enforce it. Otherwise,
100%.
What's the point, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just stirring the pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as somebody who's not impacted at all, it's like, yeah, sure, do it. It makes sense. Like, if we were to buy DVC, I would not want it to be.
We would buy it to use it. We wouldn't buy it to rent. Like, it would be because we wanted to go, not because.
And I'd be annoyed if I knew that there was abuse that was happening on the system like this.
Yeah.
And especially when, I would think about it every time I tried to make a booking and there wasn't availability. I'd be like, oh.
I know.
Shake my fist in the air. Or a fish, whatever I have handy.
Huh. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Pop some popcorn and watch it happen.
Yeah, I think, wait 6 months. We'll see what happens. Because I think I don't know if it was in effect immediately, but I mean, I think they already have enough contract language they could be taking action, but I think they're trying to kind of give people some warning, watch out.
Yeah.
Another thing I thought was interesting, although not terribly surprising, and hat tip to Disney Tourist Blog and the Breckers for mentioning this, but they called out the Axios Harris Poll 100 and 2025 corporate reputation rankings showed Disney going down to only a fair rating.
Oh, interesting.
Is for the reputation.
Not shocking, but I have follow-up questions.
Okay.
So I would be curious to know, of the majority of the companies on there, have most of their ratings fallen? Like, I feel like the climate in today's, at least here in today's tech world, I would say in general, almost everybody I talk to has a less favorable view of their workplace than maybe they did 2 years ago.
Sure.
So.
But I don't think this is for employees. I think this is more of like public image, probably perception of the brand.
Okay, I thought this was an employee.
No, I don't.
But again, I would say people probably think the same of Google and Apple and like a lot of those big companies. So maybe not so much Universal because people are cheering them on.
Trader Joe's ranked number 1.
Not shocked. Those people have a huge following. That's why they pay hundreds of dollars for their $5 tote bags. But, well, there you go. So what do you attribute it to?
I think it goes to the whole value. Like, people are seeing the prices going up, and I think in the not so distant past, there's been some political issues as well. I think people haven't been thrilled necessarily with all of the even Disney Plus and movies and TV shows and stuff. Like, I think there's been a lot of winners, don't get me wrong, but I think that it's not.
Public opinion is not excited about what they're doing.
No.
Yeah. No. I mean, even we didn't bring this in, but even the Lilo and Stitch movie, like, has definitely had.
It's very very split.
It's a very split. Now, we have not seen it. Mm-hmm. Annika has seen it. I was all gung-ho to see it after the Super Bowl commercial with Stitch, and then like the stuff started coming out about it being a different story. And I was like, I just don't need to go cry for 30 minutes in a movie theater. I don't, like, it's not that I'm morally opposed to the story changes or anything like that. That's just not what I'm looking for out of this movie. But it did fairly well in the box office.
Yeah, I mean, it has a, like, I was just pulling up on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got 72% with the critics and 93% with the popcorn.
That's pretty high.
So clearly people are enjoying it, but I think, at least within the Disney fandom, the Lilo and Stitch fans of old are kind of like, Not that it's a bad story. It's more of, why did you have to mess with the original
my
story?
Movie?
Right. And I think and it also, as we understand, since we have not seen it, and what we've been told, is it really twists and really deviates from the original kind of premise and tenets of it. So it's kind of like, that was such a good story. Like,
I mean, Snow White had similar issues.
Yeah.
They were just clothed in political issues as well, right?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I think they were, it was tanked before it even hit the street. So that was a totally other problem. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think those are great examples of where, like, erodes at the reputation.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be I'm sure it'll cycle back. Like, I feel like they've had these issues in the past.
Yeah.
And for fans, it's ended up working out when, like, some of the, shininess wears off. It leaves room for people who just enjoy. Yeah. So that's not necessarily.
Can enjoy the parts that are enjoyable and ignore the parts that you don't want to ignore.
Some of us can, look away. But
yeah.
So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I mean, seemingly, mostly only it can go up from here.
I disagree with that, actually. I think it could keep sinking for a bit if it wanted to.
For the reputation to go below fair?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty tragic.
I think if they make the wrong statement, like right now, I think it could. I mean, it's a time to be wary of where you put your mouth and what you do. So.
And I think they've learned on that.
Yes.
But we'll see.
But maybe getting, yeah.
All right, so one of the last things is the current rumor is that Josh D'Amaro is the person on deck to take over for Bob Iger when he steps away, which, I don't know. Before I give my comments, what do you think, Becky? What are your thoughts about this rumor? And it's just rumor right now.
It's just
alleged.
Rumor. It's just rumor.
Seems plausible for sure.
It does seem plausible. And I do think Disney is probably wary of, like, having Bob Iger leave and making mistakes. Like, they don't want to have to call him back a third time, right? Like, and people are generally happy with Bob Iger, right? There are certainly people who are not. Like, he's had to make some hard choices. I don't really have an opinion on Josh D'Amaro. I know he's closely related to the theme parks, so that is presumably a good thing as a Disney fan, right? Like, you want somebody who's going to invest in the parks and who's going to decide, like, this is worth sinking our money into as a business, which, okay, we just discussed a bunch of rumors, but we'll see what that actually turns out to be, right? And how, I mean, they're not announcements. They're not all rumors. They're announcements, but, like, until it's actually built and everything is put together, you don't actually know what that's going to look like. So I don't know what choice they have. Like, I suspect Iger is on borrowed time, right, for the company. Like, he probably was actually really ready to be done the first time he stepped away, and out of his love for the brand has come back to do things. So I suspect they are, trying to train him. First of all, I bet if he is the person, they're probably not going to take the training wheels off pretty fast. And then I suspect the board will hold him pretty accountable. Like, I don't know that they're going to want to see things take a turn either. I bet they'll try to get somebody to stay the course for a bit. But that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's generally well liked.
Yeah.
When you see posts about him being in the parks and shaking hands and taking selfies and, walking around and looking at all the attractions and stuff, he seems to at least be good at that perspective where not everybody has been great about that in the past. Mm-hmm. And so I think people appreciate that. And he's been very face forward in that regard.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody's loved all his choices that he's made or decisions that he's responsible for or things like that. But I don't know that I have a better option. And I do love the idea that he's coming from the parks.
Yeah.
And that at least gives you hope that the parks are going to continue to be invested in and not be forgotten or taken for granted. But
yeah.
Time will tell.
I mean, I feel like leadership is partly making decisions people don't like. So
Sure.
So, I mean, I'll give them that. Like, if you're making decisions everybody likes all the time, you're probably not actually leading. So, I don't know. But, yeah, well, they got to have somebody. Like, Bob's not going to do this forever.
No. I think he already extended it once, and I think they were just getting like, that's it. Like, we got to pick somebody else.
For sure.
So, well, we'll see. And like I said, I don't have a better suggestion, so I guess might as well. All right, this brings us to our magical moments where we try and share something magical that happened to us since our last episode.
Which has been a while. So there's presumably plenty of opportunity and time. But so, Becky, what's yours? It might take years in doing this, but I'll talk about graduation. Is that okay? Is that what you were going to talk about?
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
No. Go for it.
No. I'll pick something else. I will talk about. I gotta be honest. There has not been a lot of magical moments in this house in the last 3 weeks.
It's been stressful.
It's been really stressful. I'll go with. We got our cheer schedule released. And it does not conflict with my Disney hotel reservations.
Which is great.
Which was honestly on the table. Like, I was going to have to choose between age group cheerleading and a trip to Disneyland. And it looks as though I am not going to have to choose. And I'm incredibly excited about this. So hopefully Dave and I are on the same page. We've not talked about this extensively at all. But I do feel like, wow, we might actually make this happen.
This might actually work.
Yeah. And that would be, we could use a little Disney trip this summer. So I will be very ecstatic if we actually pull that together. But that was I think it's been stressing me out a little bit, but now we can plan our lives because we have a cheer schedule and that's our life. What do you got?
Well, yeah, as you already hinted at, graduation. So Annika, aka Button, graduated from 8th grade.
Yeah.
And for the ceremony, they all have to wear gowns, but they do not wear caps at our school. She had wanted, and so I had bought the Mickey Mouse graduation class of 2025 ears from Disney, or what are we calling it these days?
DisneyStore.com.
DisneyStore.com. It's back to that.
I still can't.
I know. I was just got trained to shop Disney, and now it's
true.
So we got those for her, and she got away with wearing them through the entire ceremony and across the stage, and we got lots of comments afterwards, like, "Oh, I knew right where Annika was. Oh, I knew that was her."
Yeah, it was
that's
cute.
Awesome. So I would say the majority of people were not wearing anything on their heads. Like,
I don't think
there were a lot of people with leis and
that's pretty common around here,
right? But she was the only one. So
I guarantee next year there'll be somebody now because it'll be like she'll be a little bit of a trendsetter on it, which will be fun.
Yeah, I think so too. And in fairness, she had ran it past the principal before.
Yeah, she asked permission,
so it wasn't totally rogue. But I got the impression that it wasn't intended that the whole time.
Well,
but she did.
She did. And he didn't mind at all.
No,
to his credit. He smiled and was happy to see her be her, which, what a gift.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So, and everybody thought that was cool. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty magical. That was pretty cool just to see her be able to do that and want to do that too, right?
Yeah.
And to be able to express herself in that way and made a memory.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's all we got for this week.
That's all we got
this week. But we want to thank you for listening. You can email us at mouseearsinparadise@gmail.com, or you can go to mouseearsinparadise.com to find the links to subscribe and to find our social media as well. Or if you want to search through the previous episodes, you can search through there and find previous episodes and topics. All right. That's everything. So have a wonderful and magical
week.
Bye.
Bye.
Applause. Applause. We hope you've all enjoyed the show.